Spirit heroes. I like that Na'Vi banned out Storm. If you're not willing to take it first overall, you kind of, well, the heroes just kind of busted. Let's be real, especially for a team. I think Na'Vi and Winstrike have both first tooted exclusively when it was not banned. So I guess Na'Vi, since they are second pick, they kind of have to get rid of it.
Of course, Rebel also being known as a bit of a spirit specialist, particularly the Storm Spirit, which you could see as one of the first banned out heroes. His second most played, Templar Assassin, is still available, though don't know if you have the room for that. You want something a bit more active, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like. Does he play much Invoker? I don't think he does.
He has played 10 games of Invoker.
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel Invoker would be really nice.
Yeah.
Quasworks Invoker as well, just to sort of cover the trot, set him up.
Speed hero would not be bad at all. The two supports are pretty useless at hunting and finding kills, so.
Yeah, it's not a bad game for a Spirit Vessel. Cyclone is always good against Axe.
Yeah, EMP just messes with sort of the Wraith King and the Axe as well, big time.
Winstrike actually bans away the Invoker.
Okay, I guess likewise for Na'Vi against the Troll and the Mars. These are also heroes that don't want to play into Tornadoes, EMPs.
Oh, I'm silly. I've had the pick order in my head reversed. I'm shocked actually that Na'Vi first picked Ench. That's kind of, yeah. I don't know. We'll see how that works out for them. Definitely going back to their roots before this roster was ever on the team. The days of Kuro and Puppy. Is that a Marana?
That is
That's a
mid-Marana.
For Iceberg, yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Notice that Na'Vi, despite being a mid-open, they ban away Broodmother. It's Rebel's one cheese hero he's got in his up his sleeve.
Ember Spirit looks pretty all right here.
Yeah, you're barely getting caught, right? I mean, sure, the Axe call you got to watch out for, but even that, you know, if you're quick on the reactions, you don't have anyone to bail you out, though. You don't have any sort of save support.
Yule's hero isn't bad either. You don't really have one. I guess the Mars could go, but it's quite nice against Axe, especially in a game like this to protect your troll.
I also like the.
Do you feel like they're lacking damage on Na'Vi's side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if you double down on that and go like DK, Kunkka, one of those like tanky type mids?
DK is nice. It's a bit. Your team fight isn't
I prefer
ideal.
Kunkka. I think Kunkka's
yeah,
really good.
exactly.
Kunkka's really nice.
Oh,
mid-Mars and off-lane Centaur. Centaur's still available.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't mind that at all.
I
Yeah.
like this. This is a good draft.
Centaur is that's some value right there.
Yeah.
That's it's like.
You know what's funny? I was gonna mention the dyssynergy of Lion Mars, you know, where you can sometimes Earth spike him up in the air, spear him, and he'll go over the wall. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it's a Lion Centaur duo.
Yeah.
I mean, Na'Vi's lineup very much seems like we just want to sort of survive. V-Tune's going to get farm, and then hopefully he'll inevitably carry the game. Like, it feels like Winstrike are just going to be able to do a whole lot more.
Yeah. Na'Vi, honestly, I'll be honest, the draft makes them look lost. It's a collection of heroes, but you don't really see why these are picked. Iceberg, Marana, that's not something I game plan a week to set up for. I look at Winstrike and I think, damn, like, you've got some incredible value. Yeah. Your heroes just look better on paper, and you're going to win your lanes.
Yeah,
all of them.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, they're going to have the edge in all three of them.
Yeah.
With the way they finish it and switch it around.
One of the reasons that Na'Vi and ourselves also maybe didn't expect a mid-Mars here is Rebel's only played it twice in his entire professional career, so not necessarily known for being a Mars player, so this will be an interesting test for him for sure. But if he does well, right, a Yule's against something like Marana, be very effective. Faith. Okay, Winstrike, Winstrike. We both going Winstrike?
Na'Vi's the better team, but Winstrike, they got the better draft by far here.
Hey, we said Winstrike very much draft-based, and our analysts, they really like their draft, and I think Fog does too. We've got Moxie and Fog as our casters.
Definitely looks like we've got some very tanky boys coming out from the side of Winstrike and a little bit of a lack of damage coming out from the side of Na'Vi. But I think you noticed a pretty interesting trend, didn't you, Fog?
Yeah, Kyle's going to want to hear this one too, probably. 13 games in a row now. Na'Vi has not won a game without PA. They've only won PA. 5 games in the last 13 were with PA. The last win that they did have was a PL on that 14th game. They only win with PA lately. And yeah, I really like Winstrike's draft. It covers all the boxes. I do see damage issues, and mid-Marana. I've seen a couple of games where, like, I think like Sumail may be playing it and stuff like that, but this one definitely looks weird.
This is not a trend that we've seen in any of the area either, as far as I know. So I'm a little surprised why they picked that up for Iceberg. Perhaps they know something we don't, but...
Yeah, I know you can, like, leaping out of the arena and all that good stuff can be great, but you're playing into a lot of disables. You get hit by one Hex, one stun from the Lion. There's so much burst damage that's coming out from the side of Winstrike, too. I'm trying to see where it all comes together as well, because I'm like, okay, Fatal Bonds, what's their big wombo combo with Fatal Bonds? It's like Starstorm. It's just like really the Mirana until Axe gets a Blink Dagger if he's able to get calls and follow up for his damage. Yeah, it does look difficult, and Winstrike, again, coming out with a really nice draft, and they've been looking pretty damn solid, so this is definitely scary for Na'Vi as it's a very important game.
They've definitely been impressing me throughout their run here up to the upper bracket of Eastern Europe, so definitely interested in watching them here, and yeah, gonna go grab up those runes. But, this is something that it just feels like Winstrike, when they reach a certain point, they just like to run at you. They're a lot similar to like Team Spirit, which I'm also seeing, like in the way that they play. They reach a certain item timing, and then they just start running at you, and they don't stop. Whereas Na'Vi, they need time. They need some time to kind of, like you said, get that Blink Dagger on Axe, start to, amp up these guys so they have enough damage to really make use of the Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, I'm really wondering where it's going to be like the big playmaking until that does come out. Maybe Iceberg is going to bring out some miraculous stuff on this Mirana, and we'll see how this top lane ends up going, because they didn't actually block out camps. So Enchantress will have camps available if Yamich doesn't block those out, so Roger will be able to punish the lane quite a lot up top. But Centaur's fine up here. He loves laning versus Wraith King.
Well, they do manage to punish a little bit in the bottom lane. They were able to take out Pantomin's courier, so it's going to have a little bit of difficulties with that, but yeah. Otherwise, one thing I do want to ask about is we've been seeing a lot of like these position 4 heroes coming out that tend to be more tanky brawlers or like high base damage, and we're not quite seeing the same thing coming out from these teams here.
Yeah, it still works out when you have like these range supports, but Na'Vi just looks a little bit more weird because they're what we like to call is your very static laners. You have their Enchantress Warlock. They don't really move too much. Not anymore, at least. We used to see the Enchantress roaming with Enchant, but the Enchant duration is not long enough for you to make moves around the map. And they did block the camps. So we did see Yamich. He did exactly what he's supposed to do up top. So Roger will have a bit of a tougher time actually securing V-Tune's farm. Yeah, it's very interesting how they are setting up the lanes too, right? The Warlock bottom just to heal up the Axe, so that tells me they want Ramses to have a good game. He needs to get Blink Dagger is kind of what I'm feeling when they do this lane setup. Just giving him the constant heal so he can get that solid farm. But he's only got 4 last hits right now. He is laning versus Troll AA. It's not an easy lane by any means. Always want to fly. Could die here. Gotta be a little careful.
Trying to man fight over here with Pantomin. I think he's gonna be all right.
He'll be okay.
There's no rotation. I think if they have a rotation, and then that becomes an issue. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the games that I'm casting for Na'Vi recently is a lot of it hinges on Ramses having a good lane. If Ramses has a good lane, that's going to open up the game a lot easier for the side of Na'Vi. They have that initiation, they've have the pressure, but if he starts to fall behind at all, I feel like they struggle really badly.
They do, and it really does feel like a lot of the time it ends up being like the V-Tune show. Like I said, those 5 PA games that we did see from him, he completely took over the game just by himself. Sure, his team helped him get to that point, but it was mostly him as top. V-Tune, speaking of the man,
they have the damage.
He's dead.
Cheshire Cat will be smiling after that one.
Love the skill build. It goes for the 2 points in double edge rather than going for the retaliate lane. I think this is perfect. You're blocking the Enchantress's camps. Lion and Centaur, very strong lane. Enchantress doesn't do too much when you don't have your creeps versus this.
I'm a bit concerned, too, with the Mirana pickup for Iceberg here.
Yeah.
Usually when we see mid heroes coming out, we think of them, having a lot of gank potential, a lot of damage, and Mirana just doesn't feel like that same sort of hero for me.
No, me either. He is getting a lot of pressure onto Rebel, and he can secure kind of both runes with the leap, so it's actually going a bit better than I thought it would go in the middle lane. Just constant harassment onto this Mars has added up, but Rebel is going to be bringing himself some more regen, and he is actually going to get himself the water rune top. Nobody else ended up checking that one, so that's a bit of a fortunate situation for the Mars after he was getting hit a lot by Iceberg.
I mean, that's something that he could be very happy that they have these static laners like you talked about over on the side of Na'Vi. Is, they're not going to be leaving. They're not going to be trying to go and secure those particular runes.
There's a creep.
Harass here.
We do have a creep on Roger now, so they're a lot stronger in top lane when he is able to find these. He's going to put some decent amount of harassment, just a couple hits and an impetus. Cheshire Cat with those skeletons. Yeah, they hurt. And we're seeing stacks. I think that's the other most important thing I am going to watch from Na'Vi is gotta stack Ancients, gotta stack Hardcamp, enable Ramses. He needs to get these stacks around the Ancients. He needs to get his Vanguard blink timing good. The triangle stacks in particular is the ones that they are setting up. The safer ones, because the other ones can get stolen if they start to fall behind in the early game.
You definitely don't want Cheshire Cat having a better start than he already has, so they'll put a little harass down. Nice Earth Spy coming out from Yamich. We'll try to punish them for going a little bit hard here over on Cheshire Cat, but Roger kind of making his way over here on the side. Just checking probably to see if the rune's still available. Grabbing a creep too. Nice Wild Wing.
That's a good one.
There you go. There's your solution. If they block your camps, you just go to theirs.
Yep. We've seen teams now approaching with like 3 sentry wards. They block like everything. I saw yesterday, like actually 3 sentry wards placed everywhere, double blocking camps too. So teams are trying to always block out from that edge. But yeah, he has this creep now, so that should give V-Tune easier farm. The toughness aura helps a lot too. +3 armor onto Wraith King on top of just the tornado if he uses it. So this is a pretty solid creep actually up here.
How likely is this just going to evolve into something like a gentleman's agreement where, you know, we start to see Yamich moving, Roger moving, and then it's just, oh, MCC wanted that courier so bad. But, you know, it's just going to end up being Cheshire Cat. He gets the Vanguard, he gets really, really tanky, and then they just kind of, you know, farm up here.
I think it's going to get to that point pretty soon, yeah. I think Yamich is going to get the map opened up for him, which I think it's actually quite good for Winstrike. Vanguard on Centaur, then he can look to gank mid, and that's where Iceberg can suffer. If he's there with a Mars ult, he's just dead, as Ramses is very deep, and we are seeing the first rotation. Rebel, he wants to stop this Axe.
He's throwing his body at him over here, Pantomin, but Rebel, of course, like you said, he's got the arena. Turn right back around again, just pin him over to the wall, and easy peasy for Rebel.
I love when I see those moves, when you see people just cutting so aggressively, like we saw the other day with like the Morphling cutting off the Axe constantly. Love when you do see that shut down. And it's gonna, I think he actually did purchase his Vanguard right before he died. So he did get the Vitality booster finished, and we see these stacks. Always Wanna Fly is preparing his game for a good start.
Those are some pretty big stacks, my goodness.
Those are nice.
And I don't think they have any idea. They don't have any sort of wards over there. Usually Winstrike is like really on top of the vision game too. It's one thing I really admire about this team. But, you know, in this case, I'm sure they realize that they probably are making stacks, but they just don't have any real vision for it.
Yep, and we're gonna watch Ramses farm this juicy stack right now. He doesn't want any chance of them contesting it by any means. Does give Troll a little bit of a free lane for the moment, but with Shadow, the heal, he will be a little bit safer.
Dynamic duo of Cheshire Cat and Yamich should be able to get the kill on Roger.
Damn.
They still got the center over here. Oh, over here, Pantomin, though, is doing a little bit of scouting himself.
He's
Always
alone,
on a
though.
fly.
He may have...
Is going to provide the backup. Yeah, I feel like maybe he was looking to see if there was a... Ooh. If there was a rune left, but they should be able to get this kill. He's going pretty deep. He's buying a lot of time, though, on the flip side of things. As Iceberg, you know, they pop the salve, Pantomin. He's just going to walk into the base here, just waste as much time as possible. And eventually it is going to be Iceberg who gets the kill, but it's a lot of time chasing after a lowly ancient apparition.
Did he actually put the ward? Is that in the camp? It looks like it's just outside of the camp. But he did put a sentry down at least to... It looks like he actually missed the block, but either way.
Top lane, the rotation's coming out now.
Iceberg
Opening up.
Oh,
the arrow misses, though, slightly off the mark here from Iceberg. And that's going to be very costly for them.
He was stunned. Oopsie. That was his last leap, too, so these charges, the restore time is quite long. So at 45 seconds till he will have one open for himself. That does keep him, that keeps him open to the window of Rebel actually being able to kill the Mirana. If he doesn't have leaps, he can just get killed quite easily. And no pressure on Troll Warlord. Troll having a free game.
Top lane. Oh, that arrow hit him right on the mark. So Yamich will fall here. Cheshire Cat taking a lot of damage from the Starstorm. He will back off.
Okay.
He had to redeem himself there, Fog. You know, the first
did.
one was a little iffy, but he got his target.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. These early rotations definitely doing quite nice for him.
I'm not as afraid of a Mirana as I am of this Mars in the mid lane.
No, me neither. Definitely not. That's why we don't see it picked that often.
Yeah.
But maybe we are missing out on something new meta, right? There could be some new meta stuff coming into play.
You love to see it.
As we see Dyrachyo. He's just going to be going for his Battle Fury build, the usual. Not seeing still Battle Furies in Europe, Battle Furies in Eastern Europe, none in SEA in China really so much anymore. So it's just interesting to see these approaches as Ramses gets the call.
But Ramses does have to be careful here. Doesn't want the cold feet to proc. Does end up proccing though in the top lane though. The aggression is on. Cheshire Cat forced to use the stomp. We get off another impetus here from Roger, but should be absolutely fine. So Ramses is still hungry. He's still hunting here.
If he gets a couple extra spins, it's always great versus Troll.
Why does he have a casual Blade of Alacrity there?
Manta. He's
We're
getting
going
prepared.
Manta. Oh my God, we're
Of
going
course,
Manta.
it's the meme. He needs to be the carry. They have a Mirana on their team.
I thought we were going to be concerned about, you know, the fact that they need to have initiation. I thought he would be going for that blink.
It looks like he wants to be the one to do the most of the damage.
He's got to be really careful here because Rebel's back again. Doesn't manage to miss the spear, but will get stunned up from this Lion. He's trying to just buy himself a little bit more time. The cold feet is down though over on Ramses. Rebel hitting away. They'll go and they'll use a Stampede, but they're not able to get the kill.
Ooh,
and Rebel says, my bad, because that spear missing was a pretty big deal, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a for sure kill if he does get the spear connection. Big mistake there from Rebel. He didn't use the God's Rebuke first. That's something I see a lot of people always do is you rebuke first, gets the slow, then you got the guaranteed spear. A little bit of a slip up there from Rebel. And Ramses now, he can put more pressure onto bottom. Dyrachyo kind of low HP, so he can boss and walk himself in. So I guess that's the solution, right? We're a little worried about Navi's damage, so him going his Manta Shard build, it will be able to at least maybe provide them that from the off lane.
What's necessary here is Icebergs. He's going to leap forward, pick up the regen rune. Life is good for this Mirana.
Yeah, all right, 2K advantage somehow for Navi off of these lane setups. Getting much more efficient plays. Yeah, we'll see that one again bottom. He just
Got too excited.
Ooh, those hurt too. Those type of misses give so much map like freedom because now they don't have to worry about that Mars ult for some time. Iceberg just feels much better about himself on the Mirana, not getting any pressure. And Axe can continue to cut waves. And Vtune, he's got his Midas.
All right.
So he's going very greedy this game as well.
Do you like that, though? Because I feel like Winstrike plays so fast. And granted, we just found out, you know, that Ramses is going to be going for the Manta build. So they are going to be able to play a little bit faster, but is it too greedy?
It might be too greedy, but he is seeing that the Battle Fury is queued up already on the troll already. He saw the Perseverance picked up, and Vtune, it's usually all about him for this team, so he does want to be that super carry potential. And he's got a mid-Mirana, so I do want him to be able to scale as big as possible. Don't really believe the mid-Mirana too much later on. Iceberg's doing a great job here in the early game, though, 2-0.
You say this, and then all of a sudden we're going to see that giant string, and we're going to be 60 minutes into the game, and just going to have a giant Wraith King running around, just like in that last lower game with the Ursa. Dota 2, it's just a silly game.
Dota 2. Late game Dota gets pretty wild. So we're seeing another smoke. Pantomime, he's hit 6. Rebel looking to just keep making the move onto the Axe. They're not looking to shut down Vtune really at all. Just wanting to really just kill Ramses. As he is the most farmed hero in the game, so it is the most effective kill that they can go for here.
They're going to
Iceberg.
walk into Iceberg here first.
Oh,
yeah, that is
him.
a very nice pickup here. Ice Blast comes in, and that's a dead Mirana.
And I feel like that's usually how I feel like we're going to see the Mirana. Like, that's how I feel like it's going to be in most of these situations. You just die in one stun every single time. So I'm really going to look to be impressed by Iceberg in this mid-game if he's able to avoid these setups. But there's so many stuns and controls that are coming out from Winstrike. So it's going to be definitely going to be hard for him.
So what is the build then that you want to see coming out of Iceberg? Because we talked about stun, so obviously, you know, something like a BKB probably is necessary, or even something like perhaps a Lincoln's.
I think he will need BKB at some point. He's going to go for his Yasha build, maybe go for a little bit of greed in between, but absolutely needs a BKB this game. Otherwise, I don't know what he's going to provide in the fights. Maybe he'll just be a little bit of a soaker for that Wraith King. Stun off the mark.
Yeah, just a little bit off, but the spear right on target. And there's a big old finger. Always want to fly will fall in the top lane. This was the second time we've been forced to see that Stampede come out from Cheshire Cat just for his own self-preservation.
Oh, worth it. He's living. He's super farmed on Cheshire Cat. He's already got his Hood and his Vanguard, the unkillable build, as we like to call it. And that is an early Battle Fury already done onto Dyrachyo. It doesn't have any stacks to work on, unfortunately, for him. As usually we do see quite a bit of those. Roger does have the Purge Creep. He'll be able to scurry himself away from this scary troll.
At the loss of his brand new friend, though.
That's okay. It doesn't give much. Worthless.
Just give your life for Roger. Easy peasy. All right.
I guess we do have just heavy farm approach. We've been seeing this a lot more from the Eastern European division. A lot more farm-heavy games. 5-2, 13 minutes. We got a Midas on one guy. We got another guy going man to Axe. It's full greed. It really is full greed by Navi.
If you had told me this about 4 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, Fog and I were sitting in the back in the green room, and we were talking about how it feels like SA has become the new CIS in terms of just tempo.
Yep.
The way that they've been running at each other, and we're getting like a lot more slow, methodical farming sort of things coming out here from this Eastern European area here. But
I like this from Cheshire. Making the move mid. He's got max Retaliate. He's super tanky. Tower just dying naturally to that Retaliate, plus some hits from Dyrachyo. It's going to force the move from Navi. They do have their ults. They have Chaotic Offering at the ready. But his Centaur has 1700 HP, and we did say, you know, big damage issues coming out for Na'Vi, so they're just going to drop the tower without fighting.
And you saw the way that they just immediately backed off. They had that vision. They knew that they couldn't stick together because otherwise Always Wanna Fly is just going to toss down Yamich. Okay. Just trying to stun up the creep, perhaps, make sure he doesn't get caught. But yeah, look at Iceberg, and then you look at Cheshire Cat here. What can she hope to really do?
She'll kill herself just from attacking him. Like she won't be able to kill him by herself. They'll need the axe for most of their damage, for most of their moves. This Cheshire Cat, again, we've seen him do this so much on his Timbers, his Centaurs. Tower's getting pushed, he just shows up.
Stampede, Rebel, trying to go over there. They'll be able to go and clip over here onto the axe. They'll drop the Chaotic Offering, though. Arrow coming in, will land over onto Cheshire Cat, but they have the Hex, and they've got enough damage with the Ice Blast. Pantomime does fall. Ramsey's ticking a bit low, but they turn their attention over to Cheshire Cat, and it takes a lot, but they do finally manage to kill him, as Ramses does eventually pop over onto the back line. And this tower now easily belongs to Na'Vi. Yamich is already teleported out. What a bit awry for the side of Winstrike.
Yeah, the Marauder doing good damage. Great walk, great rock, good positioning coming out from Always Wanna Fly there to kind of counteract a bit of that instant explosion. If they get everything off right away onto the axe, he probably dies before he's able to just like get a call off and reset. So nice setup there from Na'Vi, but Dyrachyo goes top, able to claim this entire enemy jungle now here too, and he's still at the top of the board. But so's Vtoon, and Vtoon did show up bottom with his Midas. Now he's got the Relic. He's still getting very good timings, and they're not really pressuring him too much. There's a little bit of the concern.
We say that, but at the same time, too, now we've got Dyrachyo. He's over in the Roche pit, right? So this is a lineup that comes online a little bit earlier than what Navi's got going on.
I like this move quite a bit. They know the Rock is down. That means no team fight available from Na'Vi. The only way Na'Vi takes those type of fights is with Rock. So yeah, free Roche going to be taken. Mid tower will drop.
They know. They're scanning. I wonder if Ramses is going to try to get in there, but...
I don't think they can.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. They do give up a little bit of a net worth advantage here. Na'Vi is being very efficient with themselves right now, but bam, they do get a Roche out of it. And double Manta is
I was about to say.
Woo.
Everybody's getting the Manta on this team.
It's been buffed. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be quite strong. And Ramses, he's going to get a lot of damage that they're missing as they're setting up for... He
has no idea.
So alone up here.
He doesn't have any vision either. The slow comes out immediately. Whirling Axes is going to get called up here by Ramses, but the arrow going and landing over on a creep as now Dyrachyo running for his life. They do manage to take down the Aegis. You can see the rest of the side of Winstrike is moving their way over.
Rock is still
try to protect him. Cheshire Cat looking for the opening. They can see Always Wanna Fly. They'll pin him over to the tree as Cheshire Cat gets the stomp off. That's enough damage coming out from Rebel, so they'll turn it around, but they did lose the Aegis during this.
They did, yeah, Dyrachyo was way too far up, but they're actually going to be able to potentially turn this into a tier 2, so maybe ends up not being as bad for them as it did look initially. But, I mean, Navi's really just playing full efficiency game. Everyone's just trying to farm as much as possible. Look at how they're split up. Axe is farming jungle, Wraith King farming jungle, Mirana farming jungle, since they can't contest this.
I mean, you can see the difference. Like, yes, Dyrachyo sitting at the top of the net worth on the side of Winstrike, but if you take a look, all three of the cores over here on the side of Na'Vi.
He's got a blink.
He does have a blink. He's waiting for the rest of his team to show up, and there they are, the pin over here onto the wall. They'll just rip apart Iceberg. Ice Blast coming in, but won't be able to go land. Roger left behind as Dyrachyo, barreling axes. They'll follow up with that rock. Doesn't really seem to matter, though. It's a pretty big victory, I think, for the side of Winstrike, because they didn't get much. As Ramses, he taunts up here over on Cheshire Cat, but Cheshire Cat doesn't care.
They cannot waste rock like that this game. It's their only big source of team fight until Ramses has Blink Dagger. That was a very ambitious one as they kill it. Extra money for the troll, and they're continuing to kind of chase them forward here. You have to be a little bit careful. The Radiance Burn is starting to add up onto Dyrachyo, and there is an Axe call.
Do get the call off. Rest of the team hot on the heels. They're trying to go and just stun them, but unfortunately a little bit off the mark here for Yamich's Vtoon's running right back in again with Ramses. A good spear, though. We'll push him away. Pantomime is just hoping that they don't have the vision over here, so he is going to be able to teleport out. They did have the vision, and they weren't able to do anything about it, though.
Nope. I like this pickup from Always Wanna Fly. We kept talking about damage issues for Na'Vi. He picks up a Veil on that Warlock, so that's going to be nice. And yeah, we do see that Golem killed by Dyrachyo. You really can't waste those. I really think that Winstrike can take advantage of that right now. They have all their cooldowns kind of frequently up. This Mars ulti's always ready. He's got a DD, and he's about to have Blink Dagger, and he gets a Vambrace. So it's go time. I feel like Winstrike should just look for these fights now that Golem's down constantly, and they are starting to break, you know, that slight lead, at least in net worth that Na'Vi had. It's starting to stable out, and Iceberg, I really hope he queues up BKB. Okay, he does. So
He has to.
He has to.
He can't survive if he gets pinned at all, or just.
and he's stunned, and he's dead.
Yeah.
It's just they have so many different ways to just insta-kill him. So we do have the Moonlight Shadow. Pantomime gets the wards up arrow off the mark.
A little bit off the mark. Leap forward, though. Follow up with the Yamich. It looks like Pantomime still will fall, most likely, as Yamich also goes down. And we'll turn back around. They'll have to use the Stampede. Cheshire Cat, I think Doracho wasn't sure if he was supposed to go in there or not, because they are going to retreat now without their 2 supports. Rest of them still hunting. Ramsey's not quite able to get over there, but V2 with the stun. Oh, there it is. There's the arena. As they'll trap them, they'll just try to chip down V2. That is going to be the reincarnation. Ramsey's, though, looking for the call. Is going to be able to draw some of the attention to the side, away from his core. As V2 is hexed up. Doracho has to be careful. This thing so very, very low with the fatal bombs. He will fall, as well as Cheshire Cat. Rebel also going down here. The arrow, Yamich, they haven't quite found him yet, but he is going to get found. Does get the double hit off over on the stun, but he is going to pay for this with his life as he's just slowly burning to death. And V2 gets himself a double kill.
What a disaster. That's without Golem. They somehow just walk into them and fight. Rebel misses the spear in his ulti. Yamich misses the stun as well. They just completely whiff their spells as Na'Vi runs over them here without Golem. I feel like that should not have really happened, but Winstrike with some pretty big mistakes adding up there. Now 5k gold advantage for Na'Vi.
I feel like every time we see Doracho up in that lane, something bad happens. Like, he's just a little bit too far ahead of the rest of the...
Rebel just, again, the spear before using Rebuke, and he had a DD, so it's a huge Rebuke when you do see it come out, but yeah, he just whiffs the spear again. Now watch Yamich too, watch the Lion. Blinks in, whiffs the stun as well, and they're all bound, and this is where everyone else on Na'Vi is just getting every single spell off, and yeah, Winstrike just missing quite a lot of them there, and V-Tune able to do what V-Tune does. Na'Vi, even though we do like Winstrike's draft, they are missing quite a bit of spells, and Na'Vi definitely proving that they are a bit of the better team here so far.
You can't make those kinds of mistakes
No,
against a team like Na'Vi, unfortunately. Like, you have to be really, like, spot on. And usually, Winstrike has been looking fairly clean, but like you said, if you whiff a spear, if you whiff one of those, earth spikes, it's going to come back to haunt you. Especially when you look at the play, the way that they divvied up that fight, too, with the axe, just getting the call off on 2 to drag away from V-Tune, allowing him to escape. Just very nicely played from Na'Vi.
And this is all before Ramsey even has Blink, right? This is just the Manta Shard now he's online. This is the scary thing for the Troll all throughout the game is that dunk. That's why you're seeing Doracho playing so careful, really with his battle trances and stuff like that. But huge window here for Na'Vi, because that fight was done without Chaotic Offering, as we said. Now it's going to be up for this next one here too, and they're approaching it, those items that we were mentioning. At least they were until Iceberg decides, never mind, we just crushed the last fight, I'm not going Beak anymore, I'm going Diffusal and Mirana.
I mean, I like the Diffusal, but I also feel like, you should probably have a backup plan.
If he's going to be able to play really far back behind the Wraith King and the Axe, if he's careful, the build will work, because he's going to do a lot of damage.
Is this just a situation where Iceberg has to be incredibly careful with his positioning?
Yeah. And they did just, they're probably feeling themselves after that last one where it's just like, wow, we just crushed a fight without our only real big team fight ultimate. Definitely shaking up Winstrike quite a lot there.
Yeah, 9.5, so 4k damage over here on Iceberg. It's neck and neck here with that Wraith King, so.
Yeah, he's definitely making it work. 190 last hits too. And the Fatal Bonds and the Veil definitely coming into play to amp up his damage.
Well, I guess it's one of those situations that if Mirana does get caught out, she just realizes, okay, I'm pretty much toast, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't make sense that you pick up the BKB just for those engagements. But speaking of engagements, Ramsey is leaping forward.
Oh my god.
Just blows up Cheshire Cat.
How many kills in a row have they gotten as well, too? What is this? Like,
I don't
1,
know what the
2,
streak
3,
is now.
4, 5, 6, 7. They've gotten so many kills in a row that Winstrike just, they're crumbling. They really are starting to crumble a lot versus Na'Vi.
Doracho can sense.
Doracho.
There's the Diffusal. They'll follow up. Don't quite manage to land the arrow as Rebel's just trying to use this as to initiate. But then they follow up here with the axe. He gets the call. They'll go drop the golem. They want Doracho so bad here, but they're just not going to be able to get their hands on him for long enough. Oop. We get a little bit of a pause there.
We do.
Yeah, they felt a little bit clumsy coming out from both sides here. Almost like Always Want to Fly, maybe just like a second or two behind with that dropping.
Yeah, they've shown they don't really need the golem in a couple of these fights anyway.
Look at this. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's just so far up, and my god, Ram, the damage from the Manta Shard is crazy strong.
A little bit of the play back here. The Diffusal. Arrow not landing. They do manage to land the spear, which buys a bit more time, but Ramsey's, he was just right in a good position. But They're just able to escape at like the last second. Just a little bit weird positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looks like we're ready to go again, though.
Any big timings here for Winstrike? They're both going for Satanics, looks like, on the 2 cores.
I like how you just see Axe run through, just smack one of the creeps, just run right through. Always want to flies.
Your golem.
He's just leaving it there.
He's
Sir? I mean, I know Jins are supposed to serve their masters, but that's
Okay, 100 gold.
a bit questionable.
They don't care about the gold.
I guess.
Ramses?
V2.
Dyrachyo? He is on the enemy high ground under vision.
Oh, the follow-up here from Ramses. Yamich going through their spike. Does manage to go land over onto V2. As a big Ice Blast comes in on, they go and they land it over. Always want to fly. Ramses both crumbling as V2 trying to man fight through here. It's not looking super great. He is going to go down the first time. Over on the backside, you can see Roger and Iceberg. They're trying to dish out some of this damage as they go, and they do manage to just drop that arena, but they don't catch anyone. Arrow tossed out, and Winstrike just backs off with that whiffed arena.
First big fight in a while, Winstrike's actually able to do something. They are able to keep the troll alive. First is that Axe, as soon as he pops Battle Trance, if the dunk isn't off, Ramses does go down, and then Dyrachyo has much more freedom inside the fight. Rebel, ult to run away, it looked like. They're just blocking the Mirana hits decent, and we are seeing why they're queuing up those Satanics, because there is no way to prevent those heals going to be coming out from the side of Na'Vi. If they're able to get that off, then the dunk won't be as threatening.
Got a full pipe of insight completed now for Cheshire Cat. And my question to you, Fogg, is when we're looking at these fights, it feels like Roger and Iceberg are able to sit just so far back. How do they bridge that? Is it just all on Rebel to go and get the jump? Or is Cheshire Cat, like, how do they get in the back lines?
I think it has to be Cheshire Cat. I think Rebel is more about just like getting it into the front and getting the spear onto either Axe or Wraith King so that he can protect Dyrachyo. Probably mostly on the Axe. It's going to be eyes on Cheshire Cat to get on top of this Warlock and Enchantress. But they're going to be a lot tankier. That pipe, really strong pickup here for sure, as we are seeing a little bit of that magic damage was hurting a lot, right, from the Mirana with the Fatal Bond's Veil.
Yeah. So, the jump forward from Yamich immediately, and they'll follow up. They've got the vision, they've got the dust. They're just going to pin him over here to the wall. Ramses is just toast. And they can't do anything on the side of Na'Vi except to watch them. They'll get a stun off over here on Cheshire Cat, but Dyrachyo is going right back in again. And they've got so much damage. The Stampede comes out. You can see Dyrachyo just standing his ground the entire time as Cheshire Cat was trying to get onto the back line, but he wasn't quite able to do it. And they'll go right back. He'll be able to get the kill on Rebel. Can they get anything more, though? Because they're really trying to fight. Okay, they'll follow up with the rock over the back lines. V2, he does pull Dyrachyo. He's still alive, but it's a triple kill now for Iceberg.
My God, I mean, Iceberg is actually owning on this Mirana.
I know, both of us were very confused when they picked this up for the draft, but he's making it work.
We most definitely are. I think I need to see that again. I want to see when the troll used his Satanic, because he didn't have it up toward the end. I didn't see what he dispelled off of himself, but I didn't see him very low beforehand when he did pop it. He popped it very early on in the fight. Ramses bought back but didn't have a TP, which looked scary, but yeah, Dyrachyo, I think he used his Satanic I think he may have just like clicked it early. I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe because he was Fatal Bond, he wanted to purge it off, but
that's possible.
Let's see, because he used Satanic right there, and he's full HP. That is a very confusing Satanic usage.
I guess maybe he wanted to purge off the Fatal Bonds, like you're saying. It's the best thing that I can think of right now.
But then for later on, now he doesn't have it for when the fight does progress, as we are seeing the supports in the backline just wailing onto Cheshire Cat and Rebel. And yeah, look, no Satanic now. Perhaps if he had it there, he'd be able to actually turn something, but did use it super early on. And they did reveal their ward there as well, so Na'Vi's going to know that is in the area. V2 does die, and they have to use Ramses' buyback, but they get the Aegis, and they're perfectly fine with all this.
Yeah, they gave Ramses the Aegis, I believe, too.
Yeah. He did buyback, so they want to make sure. As we see, he's priority number 1. That's how we see Winstrike playing. They have to just insta-kill the Axe so that the troll can feel a lot safer, so he can pop Battle Trance. So Na'Vi's also recognizing that. They know how important Ramses is going to be to counteract that troll. Rebel?
Mitch, Rebel, finger comes out. They'll kill always want to fly. That arrow not going to quite connect here from Iceberg, as he's just going to take a little time in the middle of that arena and think about his life.
They give V2 the shard. And he's almost got a halberd too. He's going to be really tough to actually bring down now. With that little bit of evasion, it is going to be annoying for Dyrachyo to kind of handle that. And he's starting to fall behind on this troll. This Wraith King really surpassing him, and he's getting caught up even with the Mirana. As Dyrachyo, again, walking up to high grounds. He
always here. Like, I feel like I mean, this time he's got Rebel behind him at the very least, right? He's got some backup, but I feel like he's feeling very courageous most of the time, the way that he's just very, very far forward. The rest of his team, you know, it's hard for them to follow up.
Yeah. And Iceberg has made it through the harder stages.
Ramses.
He's done excellent. He has
See you,
BKB now.
Ramses. But Ramses sees you too, I guess. So they'll go, they'll pin him over. Doesn't matter. They're going to end up losing Yamich here. Stracho now forced to run away as V-Tune is following up. Ramses looking to get back into position here. Try to use that God's Rebuke, trying to push back. Yules will buy a little bit more time as Iceberg leaping forward, has the arrow. He's got a juke around. Nice jukes here from Stracho. Big Ice Blast coming in hot. Will be able to land over on several, but they have the BKB over on Iceberg now. V-Tune trying to fight again. It's going to be the Reincarnation Pathoman over on the back line. Look at these just bonds holding them into place over on the back lines, though. They went and they got off the arena, but I don't think it's doing a whole heck of anything as they lose Stracho. They'll lose Cheshire Cat, and now Rebel running for his life.
Again, he battle tranced and Satanic at the same time in the fight. Right when they go up the high ground, he used both to try to keep himself alive, and then he doesn't have it for the second go when they're able to get on top of him, and now this lead is just becoming way too big for them to deal with. This troll can't do it all on his own.
They've got creeps in the bottom line here. Yamich has to be very careful. Does not want to get jumped here by Ramses.
And seeing this, of course, the Warlock Shard coming into play too. Everyone just staying super high HP efficiency. Yamich.
That's all he can
Casual
do.
stun, but Troll's dead for 30. This is at least a Rax.
Toss an Ice Blast out, at the very least, try to put a little damage on them, but they don't seem to care at all. Navi's just taking their buildings. Yamich again, just gonna throw out another Ice Pack, try to just blow up this Aegis, and he does manage to do it. Thanks to that little bit of Ice Blast still left on him here. Blinking out, and they'll take a tower and one of the racks.
Okay.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Man, honestly, I take back all the things I said about Iceberg maybe having a tough time. 9-2-9. He's actually he's doing so much. 18 of the 20 kill involvement. I believe he has one of the highest damage done in the game too. This Mirana is absolutely working. He made it through all the tough parts too without getting BKB, and he has it done. And he's gonna find himself a DD now too.
You know, Fog, Dota is one of those games where I love being proven wrong, though.
Oh, me too.
Like, it's one of those situations where we look at it, we're like, what? Like, we have no idea. And then, you know, the pro players come in and they just show us exactly how their mind is working on this. And it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and Iceberg, when he is playing some of these, you know, when he's very comfortable on a hero, he can definitely stand out. We've seen him do it on some stranger ones, at least in the mid, like when he was only really one of the few players running like the Doom, and he was popping off on it all these times. This could be one of those specialties. Big fight.
Ooh, okay. Immediately the spear forward. BKB coming out from Ramses, followed up with a nice arrow coming out from Iceberg. They'll go and they'll drop down the arena. Cheshire Cat, though, will fall. Leap forward over on the back line to get another dunk off. Can they get another? Yes, Pat with triple kill now for Ramses. Duracho, he's going to try. He is disarmed, though. He's not going to be able to go and save himself as he's just chasing down after B2. It does eventually fall.
He can't do
Rebel
anything.
can't do anything either. Look at this. He's crawling away. There's going to be the Wraith Fire Blast. All the spins coming out. A couple clicks. And that's another kill for Ramses.
Duracho is just getting full controlled. The lack of BKB is definitely coming into play too. He's just getting, he gets diffused in the fight, and then he just gets slowed down a little bit from like an enchant or something. He just can't move. Can't do much of anything. Navi, excellent jobs of taking these fights. Just much better understanding of where they are supposed to hit. Yeah, all healed up now. Iceberg, 10-2-13. And that could just be the game.
I mean, you have a couple of the sports coming back up. You still have Cheshire Cat alive, but it's looking pretty scary right now. You can see at this point the net worth has gone very over in favor of Navi. The jump forward, this is Yamich. He was trying to do anything. He cannot. Cheshire Cat getting a double stomp off. It's nice. Followed up, though, here with the Ice Blast from Phantom. He's just trying to get it off in time before V-Tune cuts him down. And look at this. He's just playing with his food at this point. The GG gets called. Navi will take game number 1.
And there he is, the man of the hour.
Look at he's very focused. The tongue hanging out of the side of the mouth. Yeah.
He played really well. He actually did do an incredibly good job on this Mirana. Only the two times he got caught from the Mars ult from like the high ground, they did kill him right away. But besides that, Navi's positioning was good. And Winstrike with some very weird positioning and some weird fights that they did take, and missing a lot of spells in some clutch moments. Like no rock. There's not really some big team fight. There wasn't even the Axe Blink Dagger yet. And they lost fights into no chaotic offering when they had everything up. Just spells being whiffed.
I mean, that is one of the things about Dota, that you have to remember every little spell counts. So some of those early engagements, we saw really nice arenas, but if you're going to miss the spear, you're just going to not have quite enough damage to take them down, and then that's just going to start to become a snowballing issue where you just go in, you use your spells, the big ones that you're supposed to have things done with, and then you get nothing out of it, so.
Yep, and Roger is just able to, he doesn't have to hit his spell so much. Roger actually sitting in the back just throwing impetuses in some of these fights, doing some of the higher damage actually in the fights as well, while Yamich At some point, it felt like he couldn't even walk into them as this line. He would blink, he tried to get a stun, he ended up
tried.
missing him, and then he just dies instantly because there's too much damage inside of versus this crazy axe with the shard. Just, you know, an illusion kills these two power supports.
Well, we were a little bit of a doubter coming out for this Mirana here for Iceberg, but they sure proved us wrong, and you know who else they proved wrong? Our panel.
That's right. We quite like the Winstrike draft, and unfortunately, Winstrike weren't able to prove that it was strong enough to be able to take down Na'Vi. We'll break down what exactly happened in that game all after the break. doing almost as much damage as the Wraith King, Iceberg's Mirana. The standout performance here in this first game against Winstrike, 11, 2, and 14 with his Diffusal Manta build. Something that I personally, anyway, had some doubts about the mid Mirana. Never been a fan, but Iceberg shows that it is quite strong, quite capable in his hands, and maybe part of that is a change of the meta. We've been talking about Diffusal Blade as being the hot new up-and-coming item in some of these other regions, and feels like Europe is beginning to round the corner on that.
Yeah, I loved it. I sad I didn't say it during pregame, but Ramses on the Axe was something I actually was hoping they'd shift him into. Going this Manta Vanguard with the Shard build. That's him, right? Get to farm, get to push lanes, still can kill things, a lot of pressure on map. Mirana, Manta Diffu, just a good item build. Meanwhile, Troll, buying a dead item. Battle Fury.
Oh, and you don't think it was a battle? I mean, is there another way to build Troll? Let's start with that.
I'm a big fan of sort of just the Maelstrom into the S and Y. You know, I think it's a much quicker build-up. You're able to get them a lot more involved a lot sooner. You know, you're no longer waiting for the more expensive purchase of the Battle Fury and then your big item after that's going to give you a chance on the front lines of the fight. This game, though, I felt the Battle Fury wasn't necessarily the wrong decision. I think it was kind of working out okay for him. I think sort of the issue came with what the rest of the team was bringing. We really did see Rebel. He had a bit of a tough time on the Mars. These important early movements were just... They just weren't clean. There was abilities going off all over the shot and not really hitting the heroes. Yeah. And when that's happening and you know, Iceberg's having such a game with the Mirana, it's going to be a tough game when there's that much difference between the mids.
The fight top, notably. Missing the spear could have stopped Ramses, probably killed him, instead whiffs it. The Lion whiffs. It's like, come on, guys. Then they get wiped. You got to hit your spells, man.
Now, we were slightly concerned about the damage coming out from Navi's side, but they managed to recoup that with Diffusal Blade Manta build from Iceberg, and of course, Ramses going more of a carry-style build on that Axe. But another big factor is Warlock and his Fatal Bonds.
Thanks, Cap. Yeah, I think that Fatal Bonds is the piece that kind of fit their draft together in a cool way and made what they drafted very interesting. It was very unclear what they were going to do with the opening Enchantress. They picked Wraith King and Warlock immediately afterwards, just standard lane heroes. Then they used Warlock to stabilize Axe's laning stage against a strong Troll, and they used Enchantress to guarantee the decent Midas timing for Vtune and the Wraith King. I think the Mirana last pick was basically a hero that is survivable against Mars combo and some of the disables once he gets farmed, and also because he has an AoE skill. Starstorm can hit every hero and amplify the damage. In this team fight, he ended up dying early. The Rock Golem got wasted in the jungle, but crucially, he's got Fatal Bond on everybody, and he bought this very fast Veil of Discord, which is going to amplify all the magic damage that his team deals. And if they take more damage is spread. And why that's so cool is because the Radiance does magic damage. So he buys an item that affects the whole enemy team that Radiance will take away, and they're linked from Fatal Bonds, which gives them a big damage advantage. So despite having 2 dead heroes in this team fight, look how Navi's playing this. They're playing confidently. Teams do not do this consistently because it's kind of dangerous. But V2 knows that with Radiance Burn and with Fatal Bonds, he can actually threaten these guys. Look at this. He's chasing an entire team away by himself because there's just so much damage being dealt because the threat is so high. We have a great example of this fight where they engage top, they lose 2 heroes, they go to dive, and things look kind of iffy for a second. But then Fatal Bonds comes in on 3 heroes. They get a call into. Keep an eye on the Mars here. He isn't directly targeted by anything during this team fight. Most of this goes on both Centaur as well as the Troll Warlord. Focusing Troll, focusing Centaur, and all of a sudden Rebel's like, oh, all my HP is completely gone because he's been taking 5-man Radiance, Fatal Bonds with Veil damage. He ends up getting cleaned up by an Enchantress pretty much, and they run down the rest of the team. The damage is incredible. Even in this fight where they blow up Ramses really easily using all of their great burst damage, which was excellent, they still had to run for their lives because Fatal Bonds was linking the majority of their heroes. They did have Pipe that definitely helps offset a lot of that damage potential, but Centaur ends up dying without too much focus at all. And even when they respawn and start focusing the Wraith King, the damage is still just pretty significant here. So I think that was really the key that put their draft together and what made it so cool. Look at that damage after that Starfall. I want to show you that one more time on that. Jumps in, and then Starfall comes in. It's just, it goes from like half HP to nothing. Cool combo, cool draft from Navi, and they executed it really well.
Thank you, Purge. And yes, and while Na'Vi has been looking perhaps a little bit lost in some of their previous matches, this Game 1 was especially a showing of all the pieces coming together and them just having a strong understanding, each and every one of them, of how to be able to play around the other, how to itemize together, and how to draft together. And we'll see if Winstrike can possibly contest this Na'Vi that almost looks like a new squad here in this Game 1 after the break. That Veil Discord build-up from Always Want to Fly and his Warlock was kind of cool, and it led me down a bit of a rabbit hole about spell damage amplification. It's just one of the many things that Na'Vi utilized there mechanically to be able to have an edge over Winstrike. And of course, that all started in the draft, which we did not favor so much, but taking a look back on it, in hindsight, what do we think now?
Well,
I mean, I still like Winstrike's draft. I really feel that they just didn't play very well at all. As if they were sort of very nervous or something. I feel that we've seen better things from this squad. I don't know if it's because they're here up against Na'Vi, they feel a bit of extra pressure on them, but it was just shaky. I think Winstrike can do much better than what they did in Game 1.
I would agree, but I think Na'Vi just got the keys to success. I think the biggest problem they had in their series was activating this Roger and Ramses lane. Now they've got it. And Roger on the Inch did a absurd amount of damage. And I think it's very key that they once again first pick it.
He did end up doing the least on his team, but I concur.
What?
No, sure. No, Roger's independent damage was very strong. He was, surprisingly though, he was actually overshadowed by Warlock in damage.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Fatal Bonds,
that goes to show like how much Fatal Bonds was doing, because Roger was chunking people down, and Warlock still somehow beat him out.
I mean, there were a couple like 4-man Fatal Bonds, which means the Radiance is doing like double damage.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
And then you throw on the Veil of Discord, amplifying the Radiance damage, and also amplifying the Fatal Bonds damage as well. It's a twofer. I think it also amplifies spin. There's I was reading the wiki about spell damage amplification. There's a difference between outgoing spell damage amplification and incoming spell damage amplification.
Yeah, we see a lot of ET, a lot of mag being picked the other day. I think spell damage amp is something that's been a little forgotten, but definitely effective. Like, Warlock is busted just because of Fatal Bonds. Like, it's pickable for that spell alone. There's I think I'm talking with Insania about it a while back. Like, Rock is not your real ultimate. It's Fatal Bonds.
Yeah.
That's the spell that counts. Like, that one fight top, they didn't have Rock, but they did have a 5-man Fatal Bond. That fight's over. You have lost.
And one thing that they did that we probably didn't expect was when they picked up the Warlock, they laned it with the Axe, which made that Troll Ancient Apparition lane that you were talking about. Was rather concerning. They found a way to be able to deal with that. And then Roger played top.
Maybe that's the solution. Just don't have Roger lane with Ramses. It didn't work out in the past. And even though they were ex-teammates, even back in their VP days, when they were dominant, it was still Ramses in the safe lane, Roger in the off lane with Pasha.
Na'Vi gonna just go ahead and focus down some carries. Lifestealer, Wraith King, Sven. All big, tanky, beefy boys. What's the thought process on these two teams in their carry bands?
Na'Vi, I would say just getting rid of Winstrike comfort heroes and also better partners with a Phoenix, one of the more passive 5 positions, assuming it's a 5. Na'Vi, I'm looking at VTune PL as a 4th pick. Looks real solid against this duo thus far. No Sven. I think that's why that ban was earmarked for last. Okay, now it's Core Phoenix. Cheshire Cat Special, perhaps?
I guess so. This hero, actually, interesting enough, it's not been doing very well in Eastern Europe. I think it's got about like a 30-something% win rate, Snapfire.
Yeah, Iceberg is certainly not feeling good about Winstrike's draft. He's like, I don't know what this is, but this is not good for them.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Something I've really appreciated about adjusting to life in Kyiv and amongst the bluntness. Like, Ukraine, if you ask somebody for feedback, they're going to give you the God's honest truth. And you can even see that reflected in some of the webcam responses. Like, you can just tell off the vibe. I can't read lips, but you know how they feel. It's very interesting from coming from like an American perspective. This idea of saying, hey, how are you? Is just a greeting. Like, it just, oh, how are you? Oh, good. You? How are you? And it doesn't actually mean anything. You ask somebody that, you're going to get an answer. And if somebody asks, it's really interesting. I've had to change the way I introduce myself. Na'Vi, Gyrocopter, Immediate Void. Love it from Winstrike. Wow.
And of course, it's going to be an IO Gyro. Because why not?
I don't know.
Was it you or BSJ who was a big fan of Gyro versus Faceless Void?
Wasn't me. I think Void owns Gyro.
Oh, see, Brian really likes it. Aghanim Scepter plus Satanic. You have, especially with the IO, it's like you can actually deal with Chronosphere quite well.
I agree when you get to the late game. The trouble is, I think time dilation is super effective. You're always going to have 2 or 3 spells on cooldown. You don't really need Chrono to keep a Gyro isolated. and you avoid the damage. Like, Gyro's damage is very linear, no real burst threat, and you just leap it. He never really pressures you to kill you if you don't make a mistake.
You don't think he could be bursted down? A blink call into Gyro, Rocket Barrage, and Ultimate? That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think you can for most part of the game, right? It's not until the later stages when he's got a couple of defensive items, stat items.
Maybe.
Yeah. By the way, are you guys set on this Phoenix being core? Because obviously those first 3 picks from Winstrike, all 3 of them have been played as a core in the past meta. You guys set on Phoenix being the one?
Does Rebel play mid snap?
I'm going to assume it's Snap plus Faceless Void as a combo, but I don't know.
Okay. Well.
I didn't see it on his list. Check again for you, though.
Winstrike are going to have last pick for their mid. I still stand by Death Prophet. Maybe they just don't consider it value, but it's just being ignored, which blows my mind. Both games so far.
He has never played Snapfire mid as in a competitive match.
Yeah. For Iceberg, Na'Vi probably is looking at a sustained stunt. I think DK looks great.
If it's Iceberg, all right.
Yeah.
What
Or Kunkka.
What happened to the Iceberg Doom? You know, I feel like Doom got buffed and he was
That's
playing
true.
it loads before it was picked. You pick Doom, you blink the Void every team fight. You're going to win every team fight against this Void.
It's a nasty Doom game, to your point. You just remove the win condition from Winstrike.
Yeah, it just seems to be some of these just not played as much. Even though the heroes got buffed, I guess they just don't feel it's as good in this, state of Dota.
I like the Mirana because I think when you have Ramses, you want to be able to give them more space, and someone's going to have to sacrifice a bit of their game.
They're going to go with this.
call.
I think this is really good. I'm surprised they've not been doing this more, but this game, because you just look at what they've got at the moment. It's a lot of a supporting cast for the Void.
Yeah.
You get the jump on the Void in the team fight, and I think you're winning every team fight very easily if you're Na'Vi.
Yep, I like it. Complements the way that they want to play the game too. It's a strength hero, high sustain, and you can naturally generate gold. Thus, Ramses is allowed to take more space. Iceberg's going to have to take less of it for this new Na'Vi lineup to succeed. And so far, he's picked more offlane. Ouch.
Not a fan of that.
The laning phase is all right.
Yeah.
He's got to have a hell of a game.
12 games of Batrider on record for Rebel. So, another hero that he is not
What? Offlane
had
Tusk.
an extensive history for. And yeah, it's going to be a core Tusk. And Yamich is going to be playing the Phoenix instead.
I think this is going to be a rough one.
I mean, in some ways, don't you want that kind of pointed burst damage against IO? Iceberg
but
or Doom rather, has some armor problems.
the trouble is you've got like 4 sources of damage, help, and a Void as your carry. So yeah, you've got the Snapfire ult for Chronosphere, but that's your 5 position. My concern is you're not going to scale, and there's a Doom. You have now a full 4 protect 1 against a Doom that will just, you know, to quote Black, I heard him say earlier during casting the SEA, Doom is the same. If he dooms you, you're doomed. And that's going to be the problem for Winstrike. He's just a wordsmith. I really...
Wonderful analysis, as always. The So you would have preferred more of a semi-carry type mid?
Yeah.
TAs,
Death Prophet,
SFs,
man.
those kind of heroes, Death Prophet.
Good hero.
Okay.
Against all these strength heroes, the drain would have been great. Silence.
Well, given the fact that you both lean towards Winstrike's draft in game 1, Na'Vi still won that game, I'm going to assume you guys are heavily on Na'Vi's side this time around.
Yeah, this... I think it's going to be a very tough one. Yeah, we saw Doom, Iceberg pop off on Mirana. On the Doom, I think it's going to be even more comfortable, and it just seems like an excellent Doom game.
Yeah, you can't see them, but I am wearing my glasses that provide 20/20 vision with hindsight. And based on this new perspective, Na'Vi look great. I think they'll take the game.
All right, well, we're going to hear more of his excellent analysis in hindsight from Kyle after this game, too. But first, let's go ahead and check out our casters. We got Moxie and Fogged ready to go.
Well, if game number 1 has taught me anything, Fogged, it's that you never know what's going to happen. We are seeing something a little bit unconventional. We're seeing the Tusk being put in that off-lane position, and we're seeing a very strong 4 Protect 1 sort of thing coming out from Winstrike. But, you know, you got to do some different things. You got to shake things up, but on the flip side, you got Iceberg on his Doom.
I think Rebel needs to pop off this game on the bat. I think he has the opportunity to versus a Doom as well, but if he starts making too many mistakes, Na'Vi just farms so fast. Axe, we've seen how fast this hero can accelerate. It's unbelievable, especially with that Manta Vanguard kind of build. Doom naturally farms ridiculously fast because of Devour. Io Gyro, we know how fast these two can farm. Void is not able to match that farming pace, so they got to get kills, they got to get an advantage early on, and it, as you said, 4 Protect 1 on a Void with a last pick Doom. So now Doom has a clear, concrete target who he's dooming almost every single time in this game. It's going to be the Void, Dyrachyo. So Iceberg will likely just go for those. There is definitely save potential, you know, snowballs, some heals from the Phoenix and stuff like that, but Na'Vi this time, overwhelming amounts of damage that will be coming out after the Gyro gets like 1 or 2 items. Same thing from that Axe as we saw previously.
As I was going to say, it feels a little bit like not like more reactionary coming out from Winstrike, except for the fact that Doom got picked fairly later on. So
yeah, and are they switching up roles?
I don't know.
I think they are. It looks like Yamich is playing the core Phoenix and Cheshire Cat's playing support Tusk, so it's going to be an off-lane Phoenix, at least from itemization, right? The Bracer being picked up on Yamich too, and Cheshire Cat going boots first. So yeah, just switching the roles up a little bit.
I like this a bit better. I think this makes a little bit more sense in my mind, but I still am a bit concerned. Like I said, you know, we have a Doom, you've got a Doom target. Public enemy number 1 is going to be the Faceless Void, and you got to get those jumps early here.
Oop, Dyrachyo.
Yeah.
He walks in, so they know that there's a ward in one of the 2 spots now. It's either on that low ground or on the high ground, since he does get hit from tower.
Pantoman's trying to do a little bit more scouting here, too.
Some recon for sure coming in. And yeah, they're going to be able to get that D ward. Iceberg, is he going to go for the deny of the D ward? Oh, they double hit it. Nicely done, Winstrike. So yeah, the Phoenix, making it a core. Bit interesting, we don't see that too often. Io Gyro is actually quite good versus it. Overcharge with 2 targets hitting it, even if they're Fire Spirit, you know, the Overcharge counteracts Fire Spirits almost entirely. 110 bonus attack speed later on when we do see those eggs coming out. Lots of burn, but...
Why do you think they picked it up so early, though? I guess, were they going to try to flex it a little bit more? Were they trying to confuse people?
It's a hero they love, right? It was banned in the first 2, I believe, in the previous game, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's just something they're very comfortable with, and they want to make sure that he gets those levels so that he can enable the Void. So it's not just a Snapfire ult that can, you know, be thrown inside of that Chronosphere. They do want to have Yamich off to a good start. We'll see how it ends up going. This time, Ramses, he doesn't have the benefit of the heals from a Warlock behind him. They won't have the benefit of these crazy Fatal Bonds and Veil that we did see Kevin Purge highlight in the last series. But we did see how much damage Ramses was able to do anyway. Just that crazy Vanguard Manta build. And yeah, let's see how mid goes. I'm mostly just going to be looking at mid. I think it's everything really for the side of Winstrike, just how well Rebel is able to do. If he's able to shut down Iceberg, otherwise Iceberg is just going to devour.
I mean, this is kind of how it's supposed to play out in the beginning anyways, Doom kind of struggling just a little bit, but he's eventually going to become very strong, and these rotations are going to be so incredibly important.
Make sure he gets those stickies off. He's already got 8 stick charges for himself, too. Yeah, there's a lane where Rebel has to kind of get the kills, otherwise he will fall behind in last hits as well.
This is a situation where we're also going to... Are we going to see people rotate to secure runes here for Rebel, too? Especially for those action runes.
Yeah, I think Cheshire Cat with the boots absolutely should. They should be able to double-check them. It should be a lot harder for Iceberg to get the help. But, I mean, I say that. The Roger actually can check pretty nicely, either with the creep or himself. Io, always want to fly. Probably going to be able to move around, too. And we see creep equilibrium being moved around a little bit here. Phoenix keeping the wave behind his Tier 1 and Tier 2. We see Gyro doing the same thing. V2 actually doing a better job of holding the wave, though. He power denies a little bit harder. 5 denies. Now he's going to have this secondary wave. Holding it just a little bit longer, but also kind of pushing it forward since the Phoenix wave is also pushing. He wants to be able to make sure they meet.
And Pontaman is having a difficult time dealing with Roger. They did manage to go and block up the camp. Cookie hop forward. Do they have the damage, though, is the real question. It's looking pretty good here. One more hit should be able to do the trick, and Dyrachyo will get the first blood.
Gets a courier with that Centaur Conqueror. But a nice kill. Yeah, Blightstone in the Shredder. So strong. Enchantress very low armor when you get hit by all that. A little bit of a misstep there from Roger. He gets punished. But Dyrachyo still is going to be suffering a little bit on the wave versus Ramses.
Well, I think the more important... Oh, they managed to get
okay.
Btoon's courier while this is going on.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Look at the last hits already, though. Bat's losing mid pretty hard. Something you can't have happen. The Bat has to have a good start in mid, or have stacks at least to rely on to enable himself to get that fast early timing so he can make the quicker moves around the map so he can pressure the map better than the Doom.
I imagine that we're going to start seeing, some stacking going on for him. It would be kind of absurd to not see it.
I think the Cheshire Cats should definitely look to be stacking. Like, pull the wave behind and then stack the hard camp over and over again. We've seen people do that a lot for the Bat, so you can get good boots of travel timing, so you can pressure the side lanes.
Right. Are you at all concerned? Taking a look over at the CS currently on this
Yes.
Axe, he's having himself a very nice time here in this lane. Not really getting interrupted, and Ramses is really the person that you want to be putting that pressure down on.
Yeah, he's getting full free farm. Gyro is also getting full free farm with 0 pressure as well.
attack.
Definitely a concern. I feel like Winstrike has to have lanes kind of go well.
They're still
There's
trying
bottom.
to make some plays, though, over here on Ramses, and do manage to get some of that armor removed here, thanks to that little shredder, but you can see Dyrachyo, he just wants to hit creeps. And Ramses has the creeps just following him here, too, so definitely getting the better end of this. Canceling out that salve, but...
Mid lane, Iceberg finds the Purge creep, so he can now dispel those stickies off of himself constantly. So now he's actually at no threat of dying, ever, in this lane, unless he makes some big mistake.
Yeah,
there you
look
go,
at that.
boom. No more
Immediately.
sticky for you, Rebel. Oh, that is kind of just a hard counter, actually, to the Bat.
That's a big feels bad, man, for Rebel.
Yep, and it's a bit of an expensive spell, sure, 120, but look at his stick charges. He's got the Wands of Plenty. He's going to be constantly getting these runes with the bottle, too, and yeah, Mitch is forced away from the wave. They're not able to apply any pressure, really, onto the Gyro. He's missing a couple last hits, but that's because he's dragging some creep waves. He does as a secondary wave coming soon, too.
Just protecting the couriers over here. Don't want them to run directly into Ramses and let him get stuff.
They can't block the hard camp anymore. The way that Ramses is playing with Roger, they're just completely dominating the lane, so now they're just constantly under pressure. This Hellbear Smasher is going to be hitting them with plus 30 damage. Look at Dyrachyo, he has no time walk.
They're just slowly clicking him down. The cookie hop coming out from Pantomin does buy a little time. We'll protect Dyrachyo, but
Towers
that
on Ramses.
feels so bad.
Ramses?
I don't think...
Oh.
Oh, that was very close on Dyrachyo. Does have himself a wand, luckily, but yeah, the power and the strength coming out here in this bottom lane against this Faceless Void and the Snapfire is...
And look at this, they're keeping him under the tower. Hard camp is available again for Roger when he backs up. Ramses has the Vanguard. Uh-oh.
This is looking spooky now.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to keep applying that pressure onto Dyrachyo under tower while top they keep forcing Yamich away.
What has Cheshire Cat been doing, I guess is my question, because he's not able to...
He's just pulled waves. That's all I've seen so far. He's literally just been pulling waves for his Phoenix to get levels. Because I don't think that they can really put too much pressure on this lane. Like, if you do commit to kill somebody, you're committing to kill the IO. But then Gyro can just turn and potentially kill 1 or 2 heroes. He's making the move bottom. I think this is the right move. Maybe a bit too late, though, as Ramses, he's got Vanguard. They can't kill him, though. They can definitely look to set up a kill onto him, but...
They need to.
He's already so big, and he's gotten a little bit away. Do they have the cookie?
Follow up with the... Yeah, they've got
Oh my god, a Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire Cat's sitting so low with that battle hunger on him, Pantomin. He's trying to get off a couple more hits here, Dyrachyo. But look at this. Okay, they do get some bashes off.
Look at his HP regen, though. With the Satyr Tormentor as well, he's at 20.4 HP per second. And Void misses 2 CS under tower trying to help
and
his team.
You've rotated another hero down here, and you haven't managed to do anything. Like, poor Pantomin, look at him. He's just a geriatric old lady on a lizard just trying to live her life, and Ramses is just interrupting all of that.
And now they're probably calling for Rebel. They're like, Bat, you need to come to help us with this Axe. He's getting out of control, but he's probably also like, yeah, I'm losing mid, though.
Yeah.
Iceberg with this Purge creep just dominated the matchup, and you see he has 45 last hits. Let's look at net worth, how much worse it really is. The Doom is going to be so far ahead of the Bat.
So
he's almost double the Bat Rider's net worth rate at this point.
All right, well, cookie hop forward. They don't need to use the lasso, luckily, here, so they're just going to burn Ramses down, but middle lane, too. Cheshire Cat taking a lot of damage here from Iceberg, and he's so tanky. Snowball coming in hot here. Buys a bit more time, go right back to the wave, but these lanes are starting to get out of control.
They are, and they've got stacks already. Looking at the Ancients and the hard camp, Roger's been doing that this whole time too. So 3K gold advantage that's going to be enabled even more. Iceberg just constantly devouring This game feels like it's going to be quite a big disaster. As, oh, he doesn't even make it over.
Yeah, that's the clap.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, things are going from bad to worse here for Winstrike. How do you make a play here? So you had the rotation for Rebel, right? He was able to go slow down the Axe. Do we need to see him try to make a rotation to the top lane, or how do you alleviate this pressure? Because
they want to slow down the stacks. They're scanning in the area. They have a ward around there too. They're going to try, but he's still pretty healthy.
Dota just trying to trade a couple hits here with Roger. Roger, of course, having those sprites. They will be able to go and perhaps... Oh, good call here from Ramses. Buys a bit more time and is getting some nice spins here.
Chester?
Do they have enough damage? Oh, he doesn't manage to quite get the dunk off. Ramses ticking down here. Doom is going to come out over here onto Rebel. And they still haven't managed to kill Ramses. They're going to turn right back around. They're going to get the kill over on the bat. They should be able to get the kill on Chester Cat. This is a disaster for Winstrike.
Iceberg just comes over with Purge Creep, dispels the sticky staffs off for Ramses. They turn, and I think this game might end very abruptly as Winstrike, they're going to have to start doing some crazy combos with like Chrono and with Egg. It has to be perfect. Same thing with Snapfire ult. They have to get some high priority kills. But look at all the stacks. There's just stacks aplenty.
I don't think we've seen any stacks getting made over on the side of Winstrike either during this time. Yeah, they've all been to the side of Na'Vi.
That's a big blunder. I mean, Chester Cat, his early game was just pulling creep waves. I can't believe he didn't stack a single camp to enable Rebel.
Maybe he felt like he couldn't walk that far away, perhaps? Like he needed to just be in the vicinity for a save? Because, like you said, you know, it's a fairly strong lane against this Phoenix. And once you use that Icarus dive once, it's on cooldown for quite a while.
But they were pulling the creeps behind the tower. Like, he was already in the vicinity to stack the camps. Yeah, I don't know. This forward position play is definitely not there from the Tusk, at least to enable his cores, what it seems like. And Void is now making the move top. So they've got Phoenix Egg, they've got the Chrono. They have to get a big kill out of it. Otherwise, this game is going to spiral even more out of control, as Always Wanna Fly is near V-Tune for some heals. They need to get this kill.
They're trying to hold on to that Chronosphere, just trying to burst out all the damage as possible, and they will be able to get the kill, so that's very much needed for the side of Winstrike.
Very nice. And don't even have to commit the ultis, which is really, really solid. And they're going to now be picking up a Veil on Yamich, so trying to amp up the damage, magic damage, which they do have a lot of. But now you have to gank so many fronts. So there's look like Always Wanna Fly. He's getting ready to start some stacks up. Their mid tower starting to get sieged from Roger and Iceberg. It's too much happening all at the same time. Navi's just getting way too much efficiency out of the map, while Ramses is also stacking. It's just stacks aplenty while they're also pressuring.
Snowball's gonna go right back to the creep wave, but Na'Vi, they're already there. They're ready for it, as they'll let Iceberg get the final hit, and Rebel really can't do anything. He's gonna try here. He's got some of that damage, but again, chasing after Roger, goes in for the drag.
Dispels him.
Dispels all those sticky. Does have a decent amount of damage coming out from that Firefly, but the rest of the team now zooping in. They want to try to find this kill. They don't have any way to cancel out this TP. Roger's just allowed to teleport home, and this is a huge problem.
The Purge Creep is winning the game.
Yes.
At least winning that mid lane so hard. Look at this Doom's net worth continuing to be massive, almost double some of the other cores on the other side. And he's bailing out his teammates too, not being selfish whatsoever. And he has so much mana to work with. Finds a Faded Brooch, goes drums, 750 mana. He can purge anybody who does get gone on from this bat. And that's another wasted lasso. And he gets away.
I feel like he's got very little fear right now.
Yep. He even dispels a little shredder off of himself as well. No minus armor affecting that Doom either.
Just taking all these flame spirits right to the face. No worries, as Ramses is having all the space in the world.
Free game for the Axe and the Doom. Gyro is getting slowed down a little bit, but that's just fine as he is getting farm now. And he is going for a very aggressive build. Look at this. Diffusal we said on the rise. Gyrocopter going for a Diffusal as well.
That is the way the things are trending. A bit of pinstring movement, though, coming out here from the side of Winstrike. Duracho. It is just Roger. I think he wants to hold on to that Chronosphere. Open up the time dilation, the swoop forward, the shards, and they should be able to burst down. Oh,
okay.
No, they go in for the Chronosphere.
Iceberg.
They do manage to find it, though. They'll follow up with the Mortimer's Kisses, also with the Phoenix Egg over on the side.
Nice.
So they'll take down Roger, they'll take down Iceberg. Rebel hoping maybe he can close the gap here. Not going to be able to, but now they have to be careful. They've used everything in their arsenal to get this one engagement.
Yep, and Ramses is still getting the space bottom. That Sentry Ward actually paying off dividends, the one to the left of the tower right there. It did see Iceberg just running in invisible, so they get the perfect setup, perfect chrono onto him. I don't think he had no idea that they really had any vision there. As dive forward V-Tune.
Yeah, they get the call down. They have the shards. The IO is here, though. Always want to fly. He's taking a decent amount of damage. They'll go with the Walrus Punch. They'll be able to take down
Very
V2.
nice.
They'll take down Always Want to Fly. As now Roger's over, left by himself. He's trying, but they still had that lasso in place. So they'll drag back the Enchantress, and they'll kill Roger.
And they're gonna
they're
get
going
the
in
whole
one by
tower.
one.
Yeah, Doom actually has to cancel, and the call down placed behind him hits absolutely nobody. He actually aimed it onto his own tower, didn't hit any of the targets onto Winstrike. Big moves. They needed that so badly to have a fighting chance into this mid game.
Definitely making the right moves, like you said. Ramses, though, has not been slowed down at all. And look, still, the net worth is going in favor of this Doom. 7.2K, 7K over Ramses. And this is a trend that we've been seeing consistently throughout these two games, is that Na'Vi tends to, like, Winstrike will have one person sitting closer to the top. And look at that play here, yeah.
Yeah, look, Iceberg walks in under the sentry. Immediate snowball from Cheshire Cat to set it all up. Really nicely done.
And all that magic damage. I'm not sure they needed the egg there.
Yeah, I mean, he just threw it just in case, just wanted to have a little money. Look at V2's call down. Throws it onto his tower, wasn't able to turn before throwing it out. If he actually throws it behind him, you know, it probably won't save him, but they do get everybody a bit lower, so maybe it does scare them from actually pushing and getting down that tower. But yeah, Winstrike getting themselves 2 towers, getting themselves back into the game a bit here with those big ults. And I think they do need to just continue to play around those ult timings, rather than looking for little pickoffs and stuff like that. Just keep looking for plays around towers with just big chronos from Dyrachyo.
Do you start to see, like, does Na'Vi decide that they want to start to get more aggressive now that they know the fact that all of these big teamfight ultis are down? Oh, as they go for their own smoke here. All right, interesting.
I think they're waiting on a couple item timings. They are very close to the defusal on the gyro. Axe is about to have his Manta. Doom's getting close to BKB. You know, if something comes to them, they'll take the fight, but forcing the issue too much might be a little bit of a question. Unless Iceberg gets a perfect position for the Doom to just effectively remove a hero.
Well, the pressure is on now here from Winstrike as they are smoked up in the area. See, Always Want to Fly. Constantly tied over here to V2, and as he should. It doesn't feel like they want a hard commit. They're just kind of scoping, seeing if they can get any sort of jump, it seems. Although they're going to walk over here. They don't have the vision.
This could be good.
Snowball immediately over on Always Want to Fly. They just want to give it to the eye.
Nice.
They'll be able to do it. Now there's going to be the follow-up, the call down. Nice hit back, though, with that flame break. V-Tune, he needs some help, and he's not going to get it as Pantom and gets himself a double kill thanks to the Snapfire Kisses.
They are really onto V2 in this game. 0-3 right now onto this gyrocopter, putting all the attention onto him. It does mean, as you said, you know, Ramses is getting the free time of his life to get his farm. But some really good pressure moves coming out from Winstrike. And that was just the one ulti. So now they will have Chronosphere available. They'll have Egg for the next one too. And they've got good, deep, aggressive vision down.
I think a lot of it, too, it comes down. Look at the way that they're playing, though. I like this.
Quick.
And that's one thing, I keep coming back to this with Winstrike, is I love the way that they play with their vision.
Yes, their wards this game it's looking much better than last time for sure, with the way that they have set up this aggressive posture, at least to slow down the gyro, which is, it's working. It definitely is.
I feel like they have to do this too, because if Axe gets any sort of initiation, you see how fast they just absolutely explode.
Yeah, and they're going to move into the Roche. This is all before Na'Vi is hitting these timings. Iceberg has BKB, but walking into Chrono and Egg, this is a really nice heads-up move from Winstrike. Medallion, Solo Crest plus the tag team does enable them to do this nice and freely.
That they have plenty of damage to kind of dish into that Chronosphere as well, as long as their positioning is good, right? Because the little Shredder...
and look at this.
Oh gosh,
The
yeah,
ward
they
that
go
they have.
immediately over here onto Doom, and like we said, they've got the damage. Got the Sunray, they didn't even need to use the Mortimer's Kisses there.
Na'Vi now starting to crumble after a very good early start. Winstrike picking up their momentum.
Ramses, he's rival. I think is a little concerned though, because he doesn't know where everyone else is. So they have to be careful. There's more people coming. Lasso though, the drag back immediately. As they'll fall forward here, they get off the egg. The call down, they should be able to take down the egg. It's a little bit too much out of position as Rebel now running for his life. V-Tune chasing him down. The shards buy them enough time with a cookie.
With the missile.
They've got some bottling charges over onto Rebel. They're going to try to keep him alive over the back line. So Dyrachyo, he's left just high and dry here as he's trying. He gets a lot of these nice bashes in. It's going to be coming right back up again. Does not have that Chronosphere.
Kisses.
Rolled over onto the downside here. V-Tune, he's taking a lot of damage. He's actually going to fall. Cheshire Cat is forced to run away. Ramsey's hunting him down. Also, Rebel running from Always Want to Fly. The sharks come out. He gets the dunk off. Rebel, though, should be able to go and teleport out.
Na'Vi strike back a little bit there. Ramsey's getting close to his Blink Dagger. And we definitely see the defusal being problematic for Dyrachyo to deal with. A couple hits and he's just out of mana, so he can't time walk away. Luckily, he does have that Aegis that they were able to claim before. But yeah, they gotta watch out with these eggs. Yamich, as soon as that relocate is coming in, and he dropped the egg, but they just immediately, like, there's no fire spirits then. That means the Gyro and the IO can just focus fire it super hard. Just kill it before anything does come out of it.
You can see IO itemizing here for all of that magic damage like
Yes.
we just talked about. We've got the Hood of Defiance online, and I'm sure we're going to see that pipe very, very soon.
Yeah, and continuing to get these stacks up. Double stack around the Ancients again. And their initiation is quite a lot harder on the side of Na'Vi until they do have those blinks. So they've been stalling them. You know, they're playing that greed game, that farm game. As we see from those beautiful stacks. My God, that is a lot of stacks.
He takes care of his jungle, and I mean, that's a good support player.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the past with, you know, some of these other top-tier teams. Definitely something that Puppy always does as well.
Yeah. And Winstrike, yeah, much easier forms of being able to start
fights. Lane
fights.
creeps here.
Oh, wow, that is actually pretty
impressive.
huge. Yeah. Ramses, I think, has been taking more of those lane creeps himself as they have the blink. The blink is coming out for Ramses now. So now Na'Vi can actually make plays. They have a way to actually set up, while Winstrike, they had much easier access. The Bat Rider can just charge in, Tusk Snowball, Time Walk from the Void.
I mean, it definitely feels like it is all about who gets the initiation on who for this next big battle. See Na'Vi moving their way over here to this mid lane. Got a couple of those illusions.
Yamich almost has a Lotus Orb finished on the Phoenix. That'll be really nice to cover versus perhaps the Doom in particular, to at least reflect the Doom if it does come out.
Felt like for a minute that they were going to initiate over onto Iceberg there, but
No blink on the Bat. It's a little, if they can't get like the instant grab, if he gets BKB off, it's very likely he survives inside of any type of initiation, so they have to be a little careful till they also have an instant way to get on him, like a Time Walk Chrono.
right.
Like they did before, which completely caught him off guard even though he had BKB.
Winstrike going for the invasion over here of the Dire jungle. You have the Lotus completed for Yamich like we talked about.
Continuing to play around their vision as well. We did see Dyrachyo, he's got his build ready, so status resist versus the Doom. He's got that SNY finished up at a pretty good timing. Doom now with Blink himself, so two forms of initiation on Na'Vi.
That to me is very, very scary. It's really, you've got to, I mean, on the bright side, right? Winstrike, they've got some very strong vision up, but
Yeah.
the capabilities coming out from Na'Vi now for the amount of damage that they can dish out and the way they can just blow up people is frankly terrifying.
Yeah, both sides do have good forms of counter initiation with the Axe Blink Dagger, also with the Phoenix just being able to sit back and he can always just Sunray into the whoever does get initiated on. They do have a lot of ways to counteract.
Got to be a bit careful here, sitting on the low ground, and there are quite a few heroes on the side of Na'Vi.
Ooh, Winstrike, they're bringing it down here. There's a lot of vision, though. Na'Vi does have a bit of a vision advantage down here. They do see Ramses with their own ward walking away, and they will force them out of their jungle. As V-Tune, he is approaching his BKB. So lots of magic damage coming out from Winstrike, as we said. Physical damage is actually kind of limited. So if these heroes do get their BKB off pre-Chrono, there's a high chance that the cores will not die on the side of Na'Vi.
Got to get as much damage out as possible before those BKBs get popped.
Yeah.
That is for sure. And I mean, they have plenty of damage. I think the other thing, too, very important, is that this Phoenix egg has to be perfect.
It does.
It can't be in the middle of everyone. It's such an integral part of their draft here. Look at these Axe illusions. Oh my god.
Cuts like the whole wave. Nearly kills the catapult even himself too. Does he have the shard yet? There we go. All right, Ramses is online. Gyrocopter about to be online. Doom is ready to fight too. Winstrike, any big items for themselves coming out up? Cheshire Cat, I guess he's going to have his Blink Dagger in a moment if they allow him to farm. Yamich took his CS. He's 50 gold short.
I'm curious as to, is it just like a position thing, or that they're more comfortable on certain heroes that they chose to mix it up like this?
I think that must be the case, right? It just must be that Yamich is just the more comfortable Phoenix player, so they just gave it to him.
It does seem a little odd that they opted this game to kind of switch things up, but...
Off the mark with the jump bottom. They will waste a relocate. But the efficiency game, as we said, Na'Vi, they farm faster. When this downtime is happening, and Winstrike's not utilizing those ultimates, you see what starts to happen from this super efficient Gyro and Doom is they're ready to battle. They've got all these big items here coming out. Everything is synergizing at the same time. No vision just yet, but they're going to see Rebel for a second here.
Is that the target that they want? That was the question.
Sure
They'll jump
is.
forward from Ramses. We get those illusions, the spins, the dunk. Down will go the Batrider, and the rest of the side of Winstrike now feeling a little scared. Cheshire Cat hiding in the tree line. There's Pantomin. You can see Dracho. He's waiting. He's looking for that perfect Chronosphere. He's got to be fast, though, and they have to dish out enough damage.
They see Iceberg. They get the punch. But he gets the BKB off.
He does, and they've got the little shredder, though. They've got enough damage. I think the IO trying to keep him alive. He's not going to be able to do it with the Essence Ring. As now Dracho looking for more opening. He is stunned up, though, in the middle of everything. He has the Lotus Orb on him. Is going to be able to time walk away. BKB over on Vtoon has been popped. Those kisses getting dropped, trying to burst down. This egg is looking nice. They should be able to take down Roger. Dracho, he wants more, though. He wants to get his hands over here onto Ramses. Is he going to be able to do it, though, is the question. No, they've got the blink. Dracho still looking, hoping maybe he could have caught that IO, but the IO already tethering away over to Vtoon.
Very nice grab. Again, Vision winning these initiations. They had the blink on the Tusk as well. Missed the combo by a little bit. He was able to get the BKB off, but they caught him separated from his team quite far away. Nice hit there from Winstrike, as they do have to utilize all their ults, and everyone is respawning on Na'Vi, so it looks great, but now they do have to watch out how far they push forward. Duracho's going to bail.
You saw how much damage came out of Ramses just by himself, right?
Yeah.
They have to be so careful with their positioning.
Yeah, if he catches literally anybody, they're just dead. As Iceberg, he's smoked up.
Rebel.
Oh, Rebel.
Yeah, the immediate jump, the Doom. There is no one here that's going to be able to help, I don't think, here. As, see, they're trying to go in for the relocate. They want to make sure Vtoon can have a part of this.
He just gave his life as well. He's going to snowball himself for a moment, but...
I doubt he gets out of this. No, tries to play this little cute play here with the shards, but of course when you have a blink dagger, it doesn't matter.
Dire's middle tower.
And Ramses is still on the prowl. They also do have that ward on the high ground, so he is looking for a grab. But I think, did they just spot him for a second? I think they did, yeah, their ward. Smoke did wear off for a second there, so he's able to get away on the Phoenix for a moment. Line is drawn. His whole team is going to meet the Phoenix.
They don't have their ultis, though, here.
They do not.
Can they do anything?
Without their ults, no. And Rebel, he died now twice in a row. His timing is, his farm is just completely disappearing.
Yeah.
His Blink Dagger is very important also for him to get those instant grabs pre-BKB, and it's getting stalled out more and more here from these jumps and these deaths.
I mean, he's been working on the Blink Dagger for how long now?
It's been
a couple
so
minutes.
long, yeah.
And he still has not been able to find the farm. He's just getting jumped on half the time.
Do still have this very good deep aggressive ward that has not actually been checked from the side of Na'Vi. They have the sentry, but they didn't bring a courier or anything to scout it just yet. Now I'm seeing a courier over here. Is Roger going to check it out?
No Chronosphere available, but you can see they're smoked up on the side of Winstrike. Cheshire Cat leading the charge. You can see these Axe Illusions are doing a bit of scouting. They're going to just cut the wave here. So annoying.
It really is, because it kind of reveals the smoke too, because you see the lane positioning. Axe Illusion cutting bottom, Axe Illusion cutting mid.
Dracho hunting. Walrus punch forward. They found Vtoon, and there's no IO here to save him at this point.
Oh, he does get it off. He preemptively started that relocate. That was super quick.
Very nicely done here as the Dracho, this seems mad. Winstrike, they gotta get something out of this fight here after using that Chronosphere, but the fights, they're so split up. Rebel over on the side, they're gonna see if they can burst down over here onto Roger. It's not looking like they're gonna be able to do it. As Rebel, we talked about this, he's just gonna fall. Dracho now is taking so much damage with these BKBs being popped. Looking for a bash, does manage to get one over here onto Vtoon. They get the egg off as well, so they'll set up several. And the Sun Ray trying to do enough. Snowball comes in. They do manage to take down Vtoon. Pantomime, though, is just being chased down on the back lines by Ramses. Cheshire Cat now running for his life. The call comes off, though, from Ramses. They'll get another dunk. And now Dracho trying to just get away, but they're so fast. Look at Iceberg. He's doing the body blocks, too. He wants Ramses to be able to just go grab their hands up. They even managed to go get the Doom. It does get reflected back, but they do not care.
And Ramses says, move over, Vtoon. I'm the carry now. Vtoon 1-5, Ramses 7-1 this game. He is getting all the freedom to be able to pop up. They're focusing the gyro so much in the fights that it does allow him to do that. And Rebel constantly just getting exploded before he can really do anything on this Batrider. Time and time again, Na'Vi, great target prioritization in these fights. 11k gold lead now, getting out of hand.
That save was so clutch coming out from Always Wanna Fly. I couldn't even see him on the screen at the time.
It was preemptive.
Perfect. Another initiation, though, over here. Always Wanna Fly is getting targeted pretty hard. They do have the BKB over in the back. They're just going to try to burst down the aisle. Do you manage to get the kill on Always Wanna Fly? These long-range kisses, though, coming in hot. Can they do enough damage to Ramses in time, though? It's not looking like they can now. Cheshire Cat trying to run away. The impetus, it's doing so much. Ramses just a little bit off the mark, but they still get the kill on Cheshire Cat as they're hunting over on the back lines. They just want to get rid of Rebel here, and they're not going to be able to quite find it. Buyback coming out now from the Tusk. Can they go and interrupt anybody's teleports, though? They can't.
They cannot. The chorus just trickle away, and Cheshire Cat does end up wasting that one there.
A nice hard strike here coming out over on this team, but they just need more.
Yeah, it really just feels like it is Void versus the world. Yamich is doing some good positioning here with his shard with the Sunray out of the egg, but yeah, it just feels like this is too much for Duracho to handle. And there's no Doom, but everyone else is up.
They've got Ramses. I'm nervous here, Roger.
There's no BKB on Rebel.
Call down over into the pit. Cheshire Cat using the snowball. He's gonna drag in his Void. Following out over here onto Roger, and he's just caught in the middle of everything. This is looking so bad for Duracho. He's got the BKB though. He's gonna start chasing after him. They've got the Sunray, they've got the egg. Egg will pop over on the back lines.
Chrono in 3.
They just can't get their hands on people. They're looking for the Chronosphere. Ramses though with a good call. They've got the plenty of damage. The snowball coming in hot. They want to try to take down Ramses. They realize that he is a major source of damage. He does manage to get the kill on Cheshire Cat though before going down. Cookie Hab going forward, but they've got the BKB. Oh, there it is. There's the Chronosphere. Do they have the damage, though, is the question, Fog.
It doesn't look like it.
Especially not with an IO tethering up, having an Essence Ring, keeping him alive. Duracho's just going to fall.
Oh, and they're going to tip him for sure for that one.
Yeah.
Because now no Chrono for 2 minutes. Roche is available. Ramses is dead, but it doesn't matter. They can just go into that Roche pit with every single ult down. Duracho with the big slip up there towards the end. They have to commit so much for Ramses. They chased him for so long to kill this Axe. And the egg, Na'Vi just reset away from it. As soon as egg was down, they all peeled to the right side away from that egg. Great fight execution.
Was that a mistake for the fact of Winstrike just to keep chasing after them so far away from the egg?
Yeah, I think they started to panic because they had Chronosphere up, so Duracho maybe making the call, hey, you know, I'm going to go for this here, but they're all dead. They'd already lost so much out of it as in Yamich. Yeah, we see that egg coming out, but yeah, everyone from Na'Vi just perfectly disengaging with their BKBs.
I think at the last second, the spin coming out from Ramses is actually enough.
He's in the pit, by the way.
Yeah, there's a spin.
For a free kill onto Roger here.
But it's Roger.
But it's just Roger.
And it's a lasso. I mean, it's not a super high cooldown, but
still is. They're just trying to get any type of kill. It seems like I mean, they did do a good job of at least killing V2 in this game, but V2's still able to get decent farm, and it's the other two that really have gotten out of control on the side of Na'Vi. No, the cheese again. They're just not going to get it.
Please.
Undo.
I would say that getting that purge creep early, though, especially game winning right there, and that they just weren't sure how to started to get pulled, right? Because
when you do this build.
I think he just got away with too much.
He did.
I think they needed some way to slow him down, shut him down, and they
Yeah, I mean, it's
based on that bottom ward.
It's cruise control really for Na'Vi now. I don't think they're really feeling any threat. They shouldn't either. Like, even if people get caught in chrono at this point now, they're not gonna really die. I mean, maybe some of them will, but the gyrocopter, if he gets any type of heals, anything from the aisle, he's not gonna go down. And did they pick up the cheese yet? No, they did not. It's still in the pit.
It's aging finely,
aging.
you know? And you can market it as the finest cheese aged in the Roshan pit for 5 minutes. Too bad it doesn't gain more potency. Imagine if that was a thing. If you just left it there and it gained potency as you went.
Hide it somewhere in the map. Certain locations would make it
Little
age
treasure
better.
hunt.
Yeah. Not in the water either, too. You know, what if the cheese was in the water? That would ruin it.
Yeah, it would. That'd be really nasty cheese.
Winstrike, the final go.
All right, here we
They're
go.
trying for this humongous wraparound here.
Oh, they're
V2.
gonna go up to the high ground though. V2. Oh,
He knows
they
they're
took it
there.
down.
It's a brand new ward. He's going to run right into them. He knows how strong he is and how tanky he is.
That defusal coming to play.
Rebel.
Jump over on the back line, so they do manage to go and grab Iceberg. So can they push him down fast enough over the back lines, Ramses? But there it is. There's that egg we were talking about. He's just waiting, though. Going right back in. The Doom gets placed over on the Faceless Void. Ramses is just running amok over these back lines. Gets some good spins off. It's a double kill now. Dracho does fall over here to Roger, and they're just falling apart here. Look at this. Padman running for his life. They've already lost Yavich. There ends up, and there this. It's the GG.
They knew that the smoke was coming. Na'Vi, as soon as they see the ward placed down, fresh ward, they get the relocate even to save the Doom instantly. Always want to fly. Clutch relocates and preemptive ones too, especially the one that we saw around the Ancient Pit. He started that relocate before they even started the jump and that Chronosphere. Na'Vi, much better executed game plan. Winstrike had some moments in this game for sure where they did land some good ones, but definitely that early game. I mean, you have to stack and enable your mid. If he's going to have a tough time like that, you have to try to enable him a bit better. But Iceberg, clutch, purge creep, kind of winning that matchup and just saving a couple of his teammates at some of the times too.
I'm sure he was extremely happy with being able to get that purge creep. Like you said, it just matched up so well. And I feel like, you know, we said that the panel said that they kind of drafted themselves into a little bit of a corner, right? When they pick up the Batrider, the Batrider had to pop off really hard. It just so happens they got the perfect solution to it. They didn't have a solution for that axe either. So Ramses just got everything he wanted in the world, and he had just a fantastic game.
Yeah,
So.
chilled, honestly. Like I said, he kind of took over as the carry role. They were putting so much focus onto Vtoon that kind of does happen. Vtoon, he ends up 4-5. He was 1-5 kind of in that middle game when Ramses ends up 13-2-7. So he just really takes over as this Axes.
Just an absolute beast, yes.
Yeah, we're going to see more Axe.
And they always want to fly, too.
Yeah.
Definitely hats off to this Aya, like you said, preemptively, just realizing, especially when they have that vision, right? In the last fight, you know, the fact that they knew that it was on the way, he was like, okay, someone's getting chronoed here. I'm going to start up that relocate, and I'm going to be able to go and just save whoever gets dragged back,
So much farm. This was just such a good, efficient game from Na'Vi and everyone farming so much. Like Gyro IO farm at incredible speeds. Devour it alone farms incredibly. Manta Axe also finding an illusion rune at some points in the game. Yeah, they really did get too much space on the map. And Winstrike feels like they couldn't handle all of that.
Definitely could not, unfortunately, but there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 2-0 in favor of Na'Vi. They just got all the momentum. Everything went right for them, and unfortunately for Winstrike, just not their day. But we are going to throw it over to the panel and hear what they have to say about this game.
What was a promising start for Winstrike in the second season. For them, they unfortunately have lost their last 3 series now, as this latest one against Na'Vi is going to be a harsh blow for their hopes of being able to go to the major, but they're still in a good position to be able to stay in the upper division anyway. Meanwhile, Na'Vi finally get themselves a win that puts them 3-2, and we'll go ahead and break all of that down. What makes Ramses look so good on Axe, and hopefully ask a few questions as well. We'll be back after the break. Well, Winstrike may have had some moments. Not this one, though. Na'Vi definitely proving to be the superior team in this series. All in all, just seemed to have put together a better strategy for both Game 1 and 2. It really did feel like Na'Vi had both of these games thoroughly thought out and planned.
Yeah, I think that they learned a lot, and you can tell that they've been studying not just their region, but others, notably with the pickup of the diffusal blades. I like the way they set up their lineup, and I like that they've activated Ramses. You heard Fog Moxie saying, kind of felt like he was the real carry, but more that they gave him space, and somebody had to take a back seat. It makes a lot of sense that it looks like it'll be Iceberg, kind of shifting more to the sacrificial, not sacrificial, but off-laning mid, instead of trying to have these 3 really greedy cores.
And one of the ways they did do that was just, in general, stalling out the game as much as possible on the Na'Vi side so they can get that farm on their 2 side laners. We've got Purge to be able to break that down.
Thanks, Cap. Yeah, Na'Vi did a great job first of all, stomping the laning stage. 5k gold advantage in 9 minutes. Felt like the game was going to be over almost instantly, but Winstrike did a really good job getting their heroes onto the map. They basically shut down Gyrocopter for a large majority of the game, which always kept him pretty far behind in terms of net worth. They got this kill, then they ended up getting this jump on Enchantress mid with their sentry to the left. They spotted Iceberg roaming in. They get a Chronosphere, which gets him killed. Then they end up diving and killing Gyro about here, which was amazing. They did a really, really good job in the mid game despite their gold advantage, which was pretty cool. Here's another kill. They end up warding really effectively to spot where Gyro's going to want to play in any place at all. So they get another kill on the map. We take a look at the map here. Look at this great ward vision, basically protecting this whole jungle main, meaning that anytime they leave or enter that area that they can easily collapse and kill him. And here, they got Aegis, and then they killed the Iceberg again in the enemy base, utilizing those wards. But eventually what happens is Axe Manta comes online, and he just starts cutting 2 creep waves consistently. And that basically means that the only place a Winstrike can play was previously up here, but now they end up shifting their wards to kind of play over this area instead, because they have to kill the Axe, otherwise it's not easy to get kills. And because Axe was able to cut these creep waves effectively, they slowly built up BKBs, and that's when they finally got active here at about the 21-minute mark. And then the Axe Manta just looks insanely ridiculous at solo killing heroes at this point in the game. If you don't have like an Oracle sitting behind you or like an Aeon Disc or something, I don't really know what the solution is against that kind of a blink call, other than delaying his itemization or something like that. They even were successful after this death. They still killed Doom with Chronosphere. Always want to fly rushing for a fast hood instead of a mech, which I thought was a bit of a weird choice right now. Obviously does help later on, but could have saved Iceberg, maybe won the game a bit earlier. But ultimately, it just turned into a game where Na'Vi pushes out creep waves. They eventually, I don't want to show this clip, they eventually get solo kills as a result of the lanes being pushed and the Axe being strong, and that just allowed them to win their overwhelming late game matchup with their better late game heroes. So congrats to Na'Vi, they played it well.
Yes, they certainly did. They certainly proved that they came into this with a significant game plan. Of course, part of that game plan was the Axe and Enchantress openers, but another big part was their carry player, Vtoon, having some very solid performances all the way through. Vtoon, what's going on, man? Are you feeling good after that victory?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I'm feeling good after this victory. Thank you.
Yeah, so it looked to us like you guys came into this series with a game plan. You guys look like you kind of had the game solved in and out. Did it feel that way? Did you guys do a lot of research for this match?
Yeah, we had plan for this team, Winstrike, but the most what we did is play chilling, relax. We playing without nervous.
Okay, is that nerves? Was that something that happened in the Virtus.pro match? Because that didn't go quite as well for you guys.
Yeah, we just we have some pressure versus Virtus.pro, like Roger said before. I don't know why, but what happened? That happened.
Okay.
Yeah, Vtoon, yeah, of course, looking fantastic today. I just wanted to know, sort of, as a team, how confident do you feel looking towards the remainder of the series that you have to play here in the league? Do you feel you've got to a point now with Ramses that the future games are going to be, not too difficult for you guys as a squad?
Yeah, we are confident in our game. We are confident in each other. We trust to to each other. So, yeah, like games looks like easy when you have no pressure and confident.
Yeah.
I want to know, how do you feel? You know, you guys brought in Ramses, but obviously you're still the de facto carry. It looks like you've solidified your position. Does that give you any confidence knowing that even with Ramses on the squad, you're still 100% the one position?
Yeah, we're trying to split our farm, so we didn't like fight for this.
Gotcha.
Is part of that Iceberg stepping a little bit down and being more active and less farming so you and Ramses can get more?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Well, you guys look great. Good luck in your future matches. You've got Unique and Puck Champ ahead, so wish you the best of luck.
Can you repeat?
Just good luck on your next games.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
See ya.
And of course, as Owen, you were kind of alluding to, the rest of their matches is going to be pretty straightforward for them. So they are in a good position, but we have to look forward as well. We've got our next upcoming match, and it's going to be a good one. We're going to be able to look at the other recently promoted team. It's going to be Puck Champ. Their matchup against AS Monaco Gambit.